What's up, guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1992 Lexus SC300. Up front is a 2.5 liter twin turbo inline six, and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this here SC300 for a couple of reasons, but mainly the fact that I recently drove an SC400 from this same generation. And although that car shares a platform, looks the same, came out at the same time, these two cars are completely different. And so I'm excited to share that with you today. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackpradel.com, where you can buy stickers and other merchandise when it becomes available. You could also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, and you get a video of your car just like this one. And you could read my behind the scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that 1JZ under the hood. Well, that's not the original engine for this car. It actually came out of a Toyota Soarer, which is this same car but sold in Japan, if that makes sense. We never got the 1JZ here, so this car originally came with a 2JZ, which is a 3-liter naturally aspirated inline six. And so the swap was relatively easy to do, pretty simple and straightforward, and it utilizes a lot of stock parts. Besides the front mount intercooler and radiator, this is pretty much a bolt-for-bolt swap, and that is really, really nice. Another big advantage is that you get the twin turbo, which has a huge power increase. Now, of course, this engine was rated at 280 horsepower back in the day, but that was part of a gentleman's agreement in Japan, saying that no car made more than that when, well, in all reality, they did. Now, why would you go with the 1J over just turboing the 2JZ? Well, first of all, the 1J is a little bit more rev happy because it's a lower displacement, has a little bit less mass to work with, and so it likes revving. Meaning, also, when you shift it below 3,000 RPM, it hates you and it throws a temper tantrum. So this car loves revs. Woo! It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. It almost feels like a 4-cylinder where you just get to beat the snot out of it all the time, and it takes it, it handles it, and it thanks you for doing that. I love that about these engines. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual transmission. That actually came from the Toyota Soarer as well. You could get these with a manual transmission. The last SC400 that I drove was automatic, so again, a different parallel, and I really do like the shifting feel. I like that it is manual, and this does have an upgraded clutch, upgraded shifter, very, very notchy, very direct, takes a little bit of getting used to, but at the end of the day, I really like it. Last but not least, of course, the SC300 remains rear-wheel drive like it originally was. So how does it drive comparatively to the SC400? Well, I don't think two cars that share a chassis could be any more different. This is a rigid, hardcore driver's car, where the SC400 was like a comfy cruiser. It's blowing my mind that the SC300 and 400 are even made by the same people, let alone sharing so many parts. They really are different animals. And that's what I love about cars. I love how you can get such different and unique experiences out of something so similar. So with that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have the very typical Lexus gauges. Off to the left, coolant temperature and tachometer, and off to the right, I have my speedometer and fuel. The steering wheel has been replaced with a quick release unit, which I absolutely love because it would be very hard to get it into this bucket seat without it. Off to the left, I have a climate control vent. Down below that climate control vent by my left knee, I do have my gas cap and my trunk lock, which is super nice. And moving on to the door, I have two different memory seat options. Of course, they don't work anymore. But then I do have power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. Moving into the center, I do want to talk about the dashboard because this is a 1992. It's actually a 1-year only dashboard because it doesn't have a passenger airbag. So if you have a 92 and you want to replace it with a 93 or 94 or 95 dashboard, the mounting and bracing behind the dash is going to be different, just so you're aware. But down below that, I do have two climate control vents. And then I have my center stack here with all my climate controls. This is very, very 90s Toyota / Lexus, obviously, and something I've come to know and love from the brand. However, I do have auto temperature, very, very nice, not only for modern cars, but for 30 years ago, auto climate very nice. I do have a cup holder off to the right that pops out, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the SC300 from 1992. And unfortunately, it fails. To be expected, but Autumn has this really awesome Japanese jelly drink that she leaves in the cup holder, so it passes for that, but the actual big friggin' bottle, not so much. Then I do get a cigarette lighter and ashtray, and then the shifter itself, like I said, it's actually an aftermarket shifter, and I do really like it. It's just weird seeing a manual transmission here in an SC. It's very odd to see. Then I do have my heated seat controls. Obviously, my driver's side does not work. And then I get a second little cup holder. This also fails the big friggin' bottle test. No surprise there. Then I get a center console and the seats. Now this is an aftermarket bucket seat. Autumn uses this car strictly for drifting. And so obviously you're gonna want a bucket for that. And I actually fit in it, which is very, very rare to find. I'm gonna have to ask Autumn for the exact specs because it's not often that I fit in one of these. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's go do a backseat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 1992 Lexus SC300, and let me move the big freaking bottle. The nice thing is that this seat is actually power, so when you put it back down, even though the car is off, it actually power moves back. Honestly, the rear seats, pretty good. For being a coupe, they actually are really, really nice. My knees do hit the seat in front of me, but if you have a coupe that your knees don't hit the seat in front of you when sitting in the back, what is it, a coupe school bus? I mean, you're never gonna have a lot of space back here, but in terms of two-door vehicles, this actually is pretty nice. The leather back here has held up pretty decent for being 30 years old. It's exactly what I would expect out of a Lexus like this. And I know I've heard your guys' comments. You guys always tell me get in on the passenger side for coupes. That's what they're more designed to do. So today I got in through the passenger side. It was a little bit easier, but not anything crazy. Let's go hop around the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. One of the many things I love about this car, besides obviously the 1J and all that stuff, is that even though this is a drift car, Autumn actually kept the trunk as stock as she could. So that being said, we still get the CD player back here, the Lexus floor liner. Nothing really too crazy, but for like a weekend trip, some traveling, you're definitely going to be able to fit a lot of stuff back here. Definitely, especially for this car's purposes, a lot of tools, a lot of spares back here, which is fantastic. This is pretty much unchanged from the 400, which I liked as well. So good things to be said about the trunk space of the SC series. Now we gotta talk about looks, and obviously this car is on aftermarket wheels, has an aftermarket body kit on it, all the bells and whistles you would want in your drift car. And I really like the way that the SC300 looks, and especially for Autumn's purposes, I think this car is exactly what she's looking for. But now let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think finally driving not only an SC300, but a 1JZ manual SC300? Well, this is quite the experience. Like I said, talking about the driving experience, it's so utterly different than the SC400 in almost every measurable way, except for aesthetics and name. It's not a night and day difference. It's a daytime on Earth, nighttime on Pluto difference. And I like them equally for what they're meant to do. The SC400 was a fantastic luxury cruiser. I would imagine taking that out to the yacht club on a Sunday afternoon, or driving it up to Nobu to have a nice meal. This car's a little bit more working class. It gets its fingernails dirty. It barks, it bites, it snarls. And yet sometimes that's exactly what you want and need out of a car. A little bit of personality, because trust me, there's nothing more boring than listening to a rich guy talk about what stitching he chose for his next yacht. The SC400 says, yes, what caviar would you like with dinner? This SC300 says, you ever seen a dead body? And you know what? I think the SC300's answer is gonna be a lot more fun. This is really truly a sports car, where the 400 is a luxury cruiser. I can't believe that these cars rolled out of the same factory. It boggles my mind to the nth degree. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Autumn for letting me take out her SC300. She offered me this car solely based off of the SC400 review and said, hey, come figure out what it's like on the other side. And I am so thankful she gave me that opportunity. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, subscribe if you really liked it. And I finally nailed third gear. Third gear was hard for me to get. Finally did it at the end of the video. Oh, take care, guys.